It's time for Did You Watch It?
How does this show work? We watch what we like, we talk about what we watched, and maybe you'll like what you hear. I'm Liz.
I'm Isabel.
And I'm Neil. Last night we watched episode 2 of Bachelor in Paradise. The show aired on Monday, August 11th, 2014. Here's what we thought about it. Roll call. Isabel?
Here.
Liz?
Chirp.
Liz?
Chirp, 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 chirp.
Chirp, chirp. Yes. Liz is under the weather this week. We wish her a very speedy recovery. Get well soon, chicken soup, all that good stuff.
Absolutely.
We did get an answer to that age-old question, why did Michelle K actually leave the compound?
Yes, we do. Although I will say this, she's a terrible liar.
Oh, incredibly. Incredibly.
Yeah.
No poker for you.
And the reenactment was just hokey as all get out. I'm like, really?
Oh, especially when they dropped the dummy off of the off of the balcony. That was like, wow. Just note to Chris Harrison, 25 feet is roughly equivalent to 2.5 stories.
Oh, okay.
So since he was on the second floor, you figure from foot to actual ground, at the most is maybe 14, 15 feet.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't like he jumped off the roof.
Yeah. I thought, wow, he couldn't have hid in the bathroom, in a closet, underneath the bed. I don't know, but
Yeah.
And I had to laugh when they asked the injured paramour for his full name, and his last name is Putz.
I think that speaks for itself personally,
Absolutely.
but it's like, really? Wow, what are the odds? Why do you put a guy on the production crew in a room next to one of the female talent with an adjoining door?
Yeah. Excellent question.
I mean, when you have little children and you put a plate of cookies on the dining room table and you tell the child, don't have any more cookies, you have dinner coming soon, and then you decide to go for a walk around the block.
What's going to happen to those cookies? Will they still be there when you get back from your walk?
I'm sure the cookies won't be there, and neither will your child if he knows what's good for him.
That's true.
I'm just saying. I think this week it's only fitting that we start with a game.
Okay, what's his game?
The game is Musical Claire's.
Okay, proceed.
We start the music, and Claire had received the rose from Robert the night before, which, by definition, is supposed to imply an interest in pursuing something closely akin to a relationship.
Right.
But we all know that it was just a response to Marcus giving a rose to Lacy.
Yes, and that was a total overthrow to Robert, right? Because he was completely blindsided by that move.
Exactly. So now Robert is feeling a little bit bent out of shape, and we will examine that in much more detail later.
Sure.
Okay, so at least he has Claire. Oh, well, enter Chris Bukowski. From Bachelorette fame, busting in on Andy's cocktail party.
Right, attempting to.
And he's got a date card. And so he asks Claire for a date. Mm-hmm. And it's like Claire says, sure, why not? I'll go on a date with you.
But
right.
I had to laugh. So they show Chris walking up the beach, doing his little swaggy walk, that Marcus was going on and on about how he's not a good guy and he's heard awful things about him. I just think it's funny that Marcus thinks he's the moral sounding board of the show.
This week, Marcus was kind of like the stud of the house.
He wishes he was.
I know he wishes he was, but if we're solely basing on quality of connection and intensity level, I think he would be the leader right now, much as I hate to admit it.
Well, no, I agree with you. But I think it was funny that he was coming off as being this upstanding guy, considering what he had done to Robert last week when he chose Lacy.
Yeah, you could always play the chivalry card and say, I am in pursuit of my damsel, and this is a demonstration of my commitment to making something work.
Oh, and that's totally Marcus. Totally Marcus.
Exactly. It's basically in his wheelhouse. So, of course, he would take advantage of that situation.
Absolutely.
Because he'd already fallen. So, what could he lose by just continuing to fall the last 10 feet?
Oh, he's diving full body into the deep end of the relationship pool for sure.
Absolutely.
I just want love. I need love.
Didn't think I would find it this soon. I wasn't expecting to find love when I got here, but do you want to go look at some candles?
So that, we start the music again, and Claire and Chris are on their date, and they're getting that couples massage thing. And, they spend a little time in the ocean, and Claire's saying how, they've made a connection. So she's like waving at Robert from the dock and saying, yes, I'm sailing off on the good ship Lollipop. Goodbye, Robert. Thank you for keeping my seat
I'm
warm.
hanging out with Chris right now. So we'll see how this goes.
Peace.
Peace out.
But then, when Elise and Dylan go through their little thing, and Elise is suddenly available for a little extracurricular.
Well, I had to laugh at Dylan's little deal, like with his in the moment or whatever he's talking about, how he feels smothered and it's too fast.
I'm just kind of, I'm feeling the weight of Elise right now. And I feel like closed off. I feel like I'm getting smothered. Yeah, I got a novel on Dylan. Okay.
Oh my God. He's going on about how he's missing opportunities to meet other people and blah, blah, blah. So he does tell Elise, well, if someone asks you on a date, you should go out on that date.
Elise just didn't want to let go. I mean, the denial train was just
chugging away.
Yeah, full steam.
Elise is quite upfront. Hey, I don't want to meet anybody else, but, she's like, fine, I'm going to go ahead and pull away.
And Elise even goes to the trouble to ask him later, so are you sure that you want me to go and meet other people? Mm-hmm. And are you going to be okay with that? And then Dylan's like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead. It's not a big deal. Go on.
Oh, yes.
So her and Chris off into, I don't know, we have to find a name for the ocean because it's not just the ocean. It's
kind of like the makeout spot, isn't it? I don't know. Makeout water, makeout bay. Ooh, makeout bay.
Makeout bay. Hey, makeout bay sounds very good. I like that.
Okay.
So Chris and Elise head off to makeout bay, and there's Michelle in the hot tub going, Oi, what's that I see out there? Is that Chris and Elise? Yeah, right about 12 o'clock. Well, maybe 11:55. No, more like 11:45. Oh, Dylan is just not going to be a happy camper tomorrow. I sense a lot of drama when we wake up in the morning.
Well, he's basically the one who said you should go meet other people.
There you
go. Get those connections.
There you
go. Pretty much put it out there, and Elise was like, okay, that's fine.
That's okay.
Didn't she say something he should be careful what he wishes for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, fortunately, I guess, Claire was out there when Chris took his little romp with Elise, so we stopped the music again.
Ah.
Okay, yeah. All right, now he's a douchebag. So I'm no longer interested. Because I don't want any drama.
Yep, she's on the right track there, right? She's not going to sit there and think about it. Oh my God, we had such a great date. No, she's like, all right, on to the next. Out of here.
Yeah, she's cutting her losses. And so the next morning, when the poopy hits the fan, enters Zach. And Zach's got a date card.
Were they ever an item before?
She has history with Zach as well. And so Zach says, Claire, would you like to go on a date? Because I've got a date card.
Yeah.
So I said, sure, of course. So, I mean, given that we've only had 2 episodes, Claire has been on 3 dates.
She has, hasn't she?
3 one-on-one dates. I mean, yeah, we can say one-on-one.
It pretty much is, yeah. Luckily, there are no group dates on this show, this experience, whatever you want to call it.
I know Sarah has had one.
Yes.
Sarah's had one and Lacey's had one, but I don't think anybody else has had one. Oh, Michelle. When she arrived.
Yes, with Marquel.
Michelle Money. So, yes, she's about 40% of the dates so far.
So Claire's racking them up?
And as long as there's menses, I think she will continue to rack them up, as long as it's within range of the cameras. Claire was kind of like a dwarf star in the solar system that is Paradise Drama.
Okay.
And then we go into the full giant that is Dylan and Elise.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, Dylan finds out that Elise was out in Makeout Bay with Chris and making out with him, of course. And all of a sudden, he gets so angry. I had to laugh at, Dylan's reaction. Wait, did you kiss someone? What?
Okay. Now, thank you for providing that segue because, back when Liz and I were doing The Bachelor, I had this question. Okay. We have 18 seasons of The Bachelor. We have 10 seasons of The Bachelorette. We've got 3 seasons of Bachelor Pad. So Bachelor in Paradise is actually the 32nd televised season in the Bachelor universe.
Oh, crap. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's too damn much.
Yeah.
My question is, why is kissing still such a huge issue? I watched all of the women get their their panties in a wad when Juan Pablo would be kissing on this girl and this girl. And it's like, what did you expect?
Exactly. That I don't understand. It's like, you guys are all wanting to be with someone. And I guess it's even more intense when it's regards to like the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, right?
Yeah.
In this case, it's an open game for both sides. I don't know. In this case, I think it just goes to Dylan hoping that he would have a little bit more action, and the fact that Elise had the action before he did, I think that's what's pissing him off.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Because he's the one who said, obviously, trying to be the chivalrous gentleman, right? You should go out on dates. You should see other people. Try and make connections if you can. Instead of just saying, let's take a break. Let's each talk to other people. But no, he was kind of putting it off on her, like not taking any responsibility.
But the funny thing is, the only time I saw that dude on camera with like one other person, first it was Robert, and then it was Marquel, and then they showed him sleeping when everybody's out at the hot tub. And so it's like, what kind of action you planning on scoring if you're not within proximity of a feminine member of the species?
No, that's true.
If that's how you go, you know? Once again, I'm engaging in massive assumption right here.
Yeah, so, I don't understand Dylan's anger at this whole situation. It just didn't make sense. He just looked more like an ass, basically. He's not the best communicator either, so...
Well, this is true.
And I think that's a common trait amongst men in their 20s.
Yes.
Or even 30s.
I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, the men's is in general. Robert needs to stop friggin' whining.
Oh, wow. He does whine, doesn't he?
Oh, my goodness. He is very close to the new Marcus.
Yeah. He certainly just can't get over it and just move on.
Right. Well, I have a note for Robert. When the girl you are dating is dating another guy at the same time, and you know that she's dating the other guy, and she eventually picks the other guy over you, and this occurs on any Bachelor show, the classless part is implied, but not for the reasons you think.
Very true.
They're sitting there and they're kissing in front of me, and it's like, it's just classless. And it's like, dude, when they're kissing, they are so not thinking about you.
Oh, most certainly not.
As misalike as Lacy was in her assault, and as mopey and love-struck as Marcus is, I really can't see them expending any energy saying, ooh, Robert's looking, let's kiss real quick.
All they're focused on is on each other. Exactly.
Right, and you know what? I cannot begrudge them. If they manage to make something work, more power to them, because that's two that are totally off the set and that we don't have to see ever again.
Now, I will say that Elise, in her reaction to Dylan's outburst, why did she apologize?
Who did she apologize to?
Well, she said, I'm sorry. She kept saying, I'm sorry to Dylan. I'm thinking, girl, no. You would have thrown that back in his face. Well, hey, you said I needed to meet other people, so that's what I'm doing. I don't see why you're upset.
Well, she's all in the whole denial thing, you know.
I'm gonna do this because it will show Dylan that I am sincere in my affections and feelings for him. And he's just throwing me out there, you know, amongst the sharks, and I will just remain loyal to him and everything will be fine.
Didn't she say Dylan has fear in his heart? No, honey, it's called he doesn't know what he wants. So you don't stick around and try and figure out what it is that he wants.
We had Elise and Sarah in the Bachelor confessional the next day, which is the bathroom.
Yeah.
Talking about Sarah saying,
you need to be careful because Chris is a bit of a player and I'm just concerned for you.
Sarah's really overly concerned with too many other people.
Well, because she's not putting herself out there. You know, she didn't necessarily have to put herself out there this week because she had the road.
That's true. Well, Dylan did ask her on a date, right? He got the date card.
Yes, but Dylan was an idiot.
Oh, completely. I mean, she straight up asked, like, well, why didn't you ask Elise? I don't know, whatever his bullshit excuse was. And Sarah's like, well, I'm going to have to think about it, which I thought was fair.
The one positive is that he wasn't necessarily trying to string Elise along.
True.
He was actually done. The reason that he was done is in question.
Right.
But at least when he was done, he was done.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just couldn't make that clear to Elise from the get-go.
Well, Elise didn't want to listen. Just out of curiosity, how clear do you have to be when the man tells you, okay, if you're thinking of giving me a rose, don't, because I won't accept it.
But from the get-go, he said, well, you should meet other people, instead of saying, why don't we stop? We need some space. I mean, if he made his decision, he should just said so, instead of leaving this open-ended thing like, you should meet other people.
Right, and don't get butthurt if she decides to spend a little time kissing somebody else.
Exactly. So, but he's just an ass anyways. Elise gives Sarah her blessing, basically, to go on this date with Dylan, and Sarah's like, okay, off I go.
Yeah, because we've discovered that when your breakup is fresh and you have a date card in your hand, Sarah's your girl, because she's great and she deserves to go on a date.
Oh, yeah, you're a great girl, you got a great personality, yada, 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 yada. So I know she's not quite buying it.
So, yeah, and props to Sarah for going to Elise before giving the answer, because, as we know, chicks before dicks. Ben and the note.
Ben and the note. So Marcus goes on about how he spilled water and it landed in his backpack and he found the letter. I'm thinking, Marcus, what were you doing in his backpack to begin with?
Okay, I'm calling crap on the discovery.
I think the discovery's crap.
The discovery's crap, but I also think that the note is crap as well.
I agree.
It's just too convenient, okay? The reason I say this is because if it's somebody that you've just met, are you writing notes?
I know, right?
Okay, and are you addressing them, babe?
Mm-hmm.
There's way too much babe. I'm hearing it too much in these shows. Between this show and I Want to Marry Harry, I'm kind of over the babe thing. Mm-hmm. It's 270s for me. I feel too much like Sammy. Hey, babe. No, I can't. So why did Michelle get so upset when she found out about the whole...
Something about, why are you here? You could be spending time with your child and you're not serious about this, whatever this is, this, hookup show, basically.
I know why she said she got upset. It was just the way it came across. It was like 10 pounds of upset in a 2-pound bag.
That's true. I was thinking, well, you don't need to cry.
Yeah, and cry to the point where you're having to dismiss yourself and cry in your bed.
That was a bit much. I also wonder if maybe she thought there might have been a possibility with Ben S. Because didn't she say something along the lines of like, you're taking the place of someone who I could have met, that I could have connected with or whatever.
Possibly. But, they needed drama.
No, of course. And I will have to say, I think to add to your list of the crap reasons for how this all came up, how is it that it's something that he just came across? That he didn't see it until he got there? That he did not see this note?
Yeah. The aroma was thick.
Yes. Ben takes off after everyone kind of gives him a lashing, basically. A verbal lashing.
Right.
Idiot, what the hell are you doing here? But I do have one thing to say about Ben S. when he's leaving the show, or as he jumps into the van. How old is he again? Because he's running around with a turtle shell-shaped backpack.
I want to say he's 30.
Okay, because I would expect to see something like that on a middle school kid.
He probably borrowed it from his kid. Yeah, why do I need to buy, dedicated luggage for this trip?
Oh, it was not a good look. I was like, what? No. It
was a cross between camp counselor and homeless. Hey, I found it.
Exactly. It's free.
At the cocktail party, or whatever they call it, I don't know if they necessarily call it a cocktail party or just a fish fry or whatever the hell. I like the exchange between Marquel and Michelle.
Oh, he just dug himself in, didn't he?
Well, but they start out as soon as the fearless host gave him the story and says, okay, Ben has left us, so there's 7 men and 6 women and so forth. There's this shot of Marquel and Michelle sitting next to each other, and they look at each other. Conversation goes, you're hot. Yep. It's all good. And it's like, okay, so they've just made their little commitment, that he's going to get the rose tonight.
Perhaps.
But then, you like to drink.
Yeah, he said, I've noticed a couple things and I had a question about it. Or, it was almost as if he's telling her, well, I don't like these things. You kind of need to change them, woman, before we even go any further kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, it's like telling her what to do.
I wish it was more direct like that. He basically said, you like to drink.
But what does that mean? When he said that,
I know.
Like,
it's like, okay, but how do you feel about how much I don't know, but you like to drink.
And before he could even answer the question or explain what he meant by that, Robert comes along and begins a little conversation with everyone. You see Marquel kind of slinking off, and I love that Michelle asked him, so, do you think I drink more than anybody else here? Robert's like, no.
Okay, I was just checking as she takes a sip of wine.
Yes. Well, Marquel was drinking wine, too, after he said, you like to drink. I would have said, well, so do you, it looks like.
Yeah, that was, who?
All right, so I had to laugh about Chris making his little declaration to Elise that he loves her. And Elise had this look on her face like, what?
Yeah, see, that was a fool. But, I mean, they were both engaging in these overconstructed monologues that just happened to involve another person.
Right.
And it was like, shut up. I don't want to hear you anymore.
Well, Crispy is obviously desperate to stay on the show.
So we get to the rose ceremony, and as we've established, order of appearance is kind of paramount.
Sure.
So Lacy, of course, chooses Marcus, and they can go cuddle up in a corner.
Absolutely.
Ashley chooses Graham.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of surprised that we didn't see more of those two, but I think Graham is literally just biding his time.
Probably. And plus there was other drama going on anyway.
Oh, yeah, there was plenty. Claire chose Zach.
Of course.
Since he was last man in, obviously.
Mm-hmm. She felt that connection with him, literally.
Yeah, really. So Michelle chose Marquel despite the whole you like to drink thing. So then Elise went.
Oh, boy.
The man said don't choose him.
Because if she does, he won't accept the rose.
I think that was the last thing that he said to her before this friggin' ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
And so what does Elise do? Once again, not listening. La, 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 la,
She's
la,
on her
la,
denial
right?
trade.
Yeah, Cleopatra, party of one. She chose Dylan. So then first it starts out being awkward.
Oh.
Then it gets even more awkward because he basically says, you know what? Can't accept this rose. You deserve to find somebody here who's more interested in you and wants to pursue something with you because it ain't me.
I kept rewinding that thing. I could not understand it because you hear all the waves in the background. I thought, what did he just say? What?
Maybe that's the reason why Elise chose him, is because she couldn't actually hear what he was saying because the waves
Maybe.
were in the background, and just kind of like, and she didn't want to go, what?
Exactly. I couldn't quite follow that speech that she decided to go on with.
Oh yeah, taking a page out of Michelle Kay's book.
Okay, I'd like to say something to the people. I just want to say,
All the women here deserve 100%.
It's like, baby, it's a rose, not an Oscar.
So how bad that, she finally gives the rose to Chris B. And, well, okay, I guess I'll take the rose.
Yeah, this won't last.
No, that won't. He's going to be on to the next girl, whoever shows up next.
So then Sarah chooses last, and, here's Dylan hoping that it actually had an effect, but Sarah chooses Robert.
Yes, no, even Dylan had this whole little smirk on his face like, haha, awesome, I'm still going to be on the show, so I can bide my time and meet some other chick. But I honestly laughed as soon as Sarah said Robert. I was like, that blew up in your face, Dylan.
Oh, I knew she wasn't going to choose Dylan. Once again, chicks before dicks.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to choose Dylan if he actively turned down Elise.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we say farewell to Dylan.
Who complains that he didn't have the fair chance to meet other people. Well, Dylan, you brought it on yourself.
Next week, Danielle's coming, so Markel's going to be busy. Since Markel's going to be busy, Michelle and Robert apparently are going to be spending a little time.
Looks like
We'll see how that goes.
We'll see, yes. We'll see. Although ultimately I don't see her with someone like Robert.
No, she's going to chew that boy up and spit him out and just not leave enough to bury. Yeah, Chris is definitely sounding like he's hopping off the Elise train.
Yeah, pretty much. After her little speech at the rose ceremony, yeah, no kidding.
And Graham is looking like he needs a little space as well.
Oh, wait, that's right. It looks like he and Ashley are going to go on a date or something next week.
I think so, yeah. And it's like,
Well, because Ashley brought the crazy right out, from the get-go last week.
She checked it in baggage claim, man. Ooh, I can't go without my crazy.
Ooh, the outtakes with Marcus trying to get the coconut down from the palm tree, throwing the rock at it and missing it. I don't know how many times. Someone said, why don't you just climb up a tree? He goes, but there's spiders up there.
Oh man. And then that first rock that he threw, it was like, oh dude, it traveled like a grand total of about 4 feet. Get well, Liz.
Get well, Liz. We'll talk to you next week.
We missed you.
That's our time for today. You can follow us on Twitter at @did_watch_it. You can also find us at iTunes. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening.